Rashee Rice won't be suspended anytime soon. Write that down because I'm tired of saying it. We're going to explain it all and let you know about all the latest roster info. Welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
Before we get started, do your boys a favor, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. Help us get to 50,000 subscribers before the Super Bowl. Mike, give us the rundown.
Brace yourself, folks. Get ready for a whirlwind of updates on Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice over the next couple of days because, as we all know, nothing says important news quite like a guy who might get suspended by the NFL. Spoiler alert, most of what you will read will be as relevant as a 4th and inches quarterback sneak play call to Andy Reid. So pop a blue chew and let's dive into the latest drama, shall we? Local Dallas media had the audacity to report on Wednesday evening that a trial date for Rice has been set for June of 2025. Wow, talk about a cliffhanger, but wait, hold the phone. They conveniently forgot to mention that this trial is about as criminal as a toddler stealing a cookie from the jar. It's a civil trial, folks. The NFL, bless their hearts, doesn't give a hoot about civil proceedings. They're far too busy twiddling their thumbs, coming up with ways to take tackling out of football to be bothered by this just yet. Until any actual police investigation wraps up and the legal proceedings also wrap, Roger Goodell will stay on vacation.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any juicier, we got some commissioner's exempt list news this week. Oh joy! Ian Rappaport and Jesse Newell confirmed that Rice is unlikely to end up on the dreaded list at the start of the season. How thrilling! It's like being told you won't be grounded for the summer for sneaking a natty light into prom. During training camp, the ever so mysterious Andy Reid and Clark Hunt decided to grace us with their wisdom, revealing that there was shockingly not much to say about Rice's potential suspension. Hunt even let it slip that the NFL hadn't even started their investigation yet. Oh, the horror! Do you hear that? That's the sound of grown men crying because they're struggling with this Chiefs dynasty.
Okay, so let's rewind to 2 weeks ago when NBC Sports reported that the NFL hadn't even bothered to interview Rice just yet. It's almost as if they're waiting for something to finish. A legal court case maybe? Insiders also hinted that a suspension might not even happen until 2025, and the Chiefs get all the breaks conspiracy theorists have just turned into pillars of salt. It seems like they're following a strict no-rush policy that they've been implementing since, well, as long as Goodell has been in charge. Now, for all of you Chief fans out there, keep your eyes peeled for any action on Rashee Rice's criminal case. But don't hold your breath. Until something actually happens, the NFL is not lifting a finger. First, we allow the legal process to move through, said Commissioner Goodell just back in April, with all the urgency of Patrick Mahomes running the 40 at the NFL Combine. So very thoughtful of him to embrace our three-peat.
At this moment, there's no public record of Rice being formally charged. Yes, the media loves to throw around the phrase charged with 8 felonies like it's confetti at our latest Super Bowl parade, but those charges often change faster than Tyreek Hill's baby mamas. Also, there's no date for a criminal trial yet. When the elusive date finally surfaces, maybe, just maybe, we'll see some movement in the NFL's investigation. And before you start hollering about favoritism, let's set the record straight. The league is just waiting for the criminal case to wrap up, because why would they act before that? Look at Saints running back Alvin Kamara's saga. It took him over a year to get suspended after a February 2022 incident, only facing consequences in August of 2023 after he accepted a plea deal.
So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, everyone. This Rashee Rice saga is just getting started, and it promises to be as riveting as watching the Raiders win their yearly 5 games.
So the Chiefs wide receiver room is just busting with talent. Yet there are always those insatiable fans who seem to think they deserve more. Here's looking at you, kid. Now that Ayuk is off the market, Arrowhead Pride has turned its attention to another unavailable wide receiver. Seriously, who wouldn't want to trade a shiny second-round pick for Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp? Because clearly, the first thing every Chiefs fan wants to do is ignore the perfectly good trio of Brown, Rice, and Worthy, who could be just as good as any top receiver core in football. But hey, why settle for what's right in front of you when you can dream of Cooper freaking Kupp?
Sure, adding him would send Chiefs fans into a frenzy that could rival Deshaun Watson's butt touching at a massage parlor, but let's not forget, he comes with a delightful little $90 million cap hit over the next 3 seasons. So in essence, Veach is going to gather the kids around the dinner table and say, guess what, children? We have Cooper Kupp at home. Enjoy.
With the 53-man roster deadline having come and gone, let's recap this dizzying roller coaster of moves. Just before the cuts, old friend Juju Smith-Schuster came back into the fold, and the Chiefs traded a bag of chips for Cardinals edge rusher Cam Thomas. But for real, just a 7th rounder for the 3rd round San Diego State product? Irv Smith would be the first free agent signed for the Chiefs and the first guy cut on Tuesday. However, Veach decided to trade the Cowboys for an Indiana University tight end named Peyton Hendershot. He gave up a conditional 7th round pick for the tight end, but Hendershot will immediately snag a roster spot. Then came the big cuts. Kadarius Toney got the axe, and fan favorites Nico Remigio and Justin Ross also got chopped. Running backs Deneric Prince and Louis Reese-Zammit were also shown the door. Looks like Prince is yet to be picked up, and LRZ is in sunny Florida as the new mascot for the London Jaguars.
As the roster began to settle, Brett Veach snagged ex-Denver running back Samaje Perine in a move that had everyone scrambling for the tissues. Horned Up was on 11, and yes, it was a great signing, but the local stores are now experiencing a shortage of Vaseline and Kleenex. A little pee-pee on the pee-pee. Lucas Niang was given his walking papers in favor of undrafted free agent tackle Ethan Driscoll, who really razzled and dazzled during training camp and the preseason. And let's not forget the UDFA success stories of real deal Carson Steele and defensive back Chris Rowland Wallace. They also made the cut.
Of course, we had to say goodbye to some young hopefuls who many thought had a shot. 6th round pick Kamal Haddon and Keith Taylor, the supposed dark horse to make the 53, got shown the door. Taylor would find his way back on the practice squad, but Haddon is nowhere to be found right now. The Patriots were more than happy to scoop up linebacker Curtis Jacobs to the dismay of a big chunk of the kingdom. Many thought Jacobs was a Willie Gay clone. Finally, after all the drama and raiding the Cowboys' entire team, the Chiefs settled on the 53-man roster, which now includes KC area cornerback Eric Scott Jr., who was released by the Cowboys. Nick Jones, last year's 7th round pick, was dropped making way for Scott, but he has cleared waivers and is now a candidate for the practice squad. Though we'll have to wait and see on that front, it's not yet known at the time of this recording. In total, the practice squad boasts 16 members plus an exempt spot for an international player. And perhaps the most shocking twist of the entire cut day, the Chiefs announced that former Patriots quarterback Bailey Zappe, or Zappe Gilmore, will be joining the practice squad, replacing Chris Oladokun. Yes, Travis, his name is Bailey.
So there you have it, folks. The Chiefs roster moves have been nothing short of a soap opera filled with drama, surprise twist, and a cast of characters that would make even the most seasoned reality TV producers proud. Buckle up, because this season is shaping up to be one wild ride, and it hasn't even started.
Whew, that was a hell of a lot to talk about right there, Mike. What'd you pull away from all that mess?
I think what I pulled away from was the fact that we've been telling people that Rashee Rice was not getting suspended, Steve. It's just not going to happen. I don't know how many languages we got to say this in, but they got to wait for his court date to actually take place. And not the civil, it's got to be the legal. The other thing that caught my attention was Cooper Kupp. We don't need another wide receiver. That's going to be almost $90 million in cap hit. That's insane. Brett Veach is trying to get rid of $30 million receivers, not add them to the roster.
Yeah, I highly doubt Brett Veach is going to set aside $29 million a year to give to Cooper Kupp. Man, I love Cooper Kupp as a receiver. I think he's freaking fantastic, and I think he would fit awesome into our offense with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They could have a freaking field day with that kid. But the problem is he's very injury prone. We don't need another injury prone wide receiver in a room that already has a handful of those guys. I just don't see it happening, man.
Yeah, that's kind of a stupid suggestion by Arrowhead Pride. I think they're just getting a little bored, but I don't know why they had to release something like that on a day like cut day, baby. We've had some crazy times over the past few days, Steve. What's some of the cuts or some of the additions that you've been surprised with that Brett Veach made?
I'll tell you what didn't surprise me. Sky Moore making the 53-man roster. I don't know who would have said that. Justin Ross leaving, Nico Remigio getting cut, blah, blah, blah. Everybody was freaking out. Hey, they cleared waivers, and it just goes to show that Buffalo, the Bengals, the Chargers, they're all a bunch of freaking slap nuts. They could have really used Justin Ross, but we'll take him back on our practice squad, and Nico's there for all the Nico homers around the kingdom. It will feel kind of strange not having the weird Kadarius Toney on a roster anymore, though.
Yeah, you're right about that. I was very surprised that Justin Ross actually cleared waivers. I thought he may be the one guy that couldn't get through, but he did. And lo and behold, he's back on the Chiefs. I'm fine with that. A lot of people in Chiefs Kingdom were kind of upset that Louis Reese-Zammit went elsewhere. I'm thinking they didn't even offer him anything because he did end up on the practice squad down there in Jacksonville, Steve. And what I've discovered is that they're not using him as a running back. It looks like they're going to use him as a wide receiver. He's rocking number 83 or 84 right now. So maybe they seen something that we didn't and they want to use him in a different way. But I think everybody could see the kid wasn't a running back.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to have a guy with no experience try to learn a bunch of routes. I think that'll be great. So we'll see how that works out for Jacksonville. But hey, Louis Reese-Zammit, I wish you the best, my friend. Hopefully you can find a place in the NFL because that's what you want to do. Another thing that I thought was great, Mike, was the signing of Samaje Perine. We've been talking about the running back room all offseason and how it's a little lackluster, and it looks like they needed some more depth there. And that's when we thought Deneric Prince could actually make the team. He's gone now. So this was a great signing. I think this kid actually put up against us when he was replacing Joe Mixon with the Bengals, and he even played for the Donkeys for a little bit. I think he's an all-around decent running back.
Yeah, a lot of people said they wanted to see us sign Perine if he become available. I honestly didn't think Brett Veach would pull the trigger on him, but he did. He said yesterday that he is there. They don't have the paperwork exactly finished, but he does have the playbook in his hand, and they're going to get him on the field, so I'm happy to see it. I think Chiefs Kingdom is also happy to see him there. It definitely raises the floor of the running back room when a lot of people aren't really sold on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about his talent. A lot of it is about his health situation at the moment.
Yeah, Mike, you said the $1 million phrase, and that's raising the floor because that's what Brett Veach did across the board. If you look at each position, you got Juju Smith-Schuster raising up the wide receiver room, Bailey Zappe raising up the quarterback room, Samaje Perine and the running backs. You even got Peyton Hendershot in the tight end room now because they didn't think Irv Smith was going to get the job done. The only thing that struck me a little odd, Mike, was the cornerback room. They got rid of almost the entire bottom half of the cornerback room and tried to replace them with guys that are not familiar with the system. That just shows me they had no faith in guys like Nick Jones, Kamal Haddon, Taylor, Echo Boy Doe. There's just so many that are gone now. It's almost like they're starting from scratch, but I do have full faith that I think Josh Williams is going to be that cornerback that everybody wants him to be. Give it some time, baby. Let Spags cook. But you guys let us know in the comments what you think about all these freaking moves. What do you grade Veach on this offseason? Because to me, it looks like this team is set and ready to go for the season, baby.
That's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks for liking, subscribing, clicking that bell. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.